Hi, just a quick note that this one was recorded without my usual mic at my usual desk, so apologies for the sound quality.
Howdy folks, and welcome to another episode of Taste of Gameplay. This time for the Pan-American Tier 2 Tech Tree Cruiser, the Almirante Barroso. As always, these videos are designed to give you a sample of the gameplay of the ship. Not to be an exhaustive analysis, I recommend the Wargaming Wiki or other content creators. So, I'm recording this episode on New Year's Eve, the day before 2026. And I do want to talk a little bit about the ship, the Almirante Barroso, but basically this ship is not all that terribly interesting. It is essentially a Weymouth with AP and not a lot else. It's there to teach you about AP and heals, and it's an adequate ship, but I don't think anyone would ever really drive it. I'll talk a little bit about how this match went and why I lost it and why I did so much damage. But then I also want to spend some time just talking about the channel and New Year and my philosophy for why I'm doing this and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, the Almirante Barroso. If it reminds you of the Weymouth, that's because it's basically the same ship, essentially. Historically, it was built by the British and then sold to the Brazilians. Yeah, it's got 6 guns. You can shoot 4 of them at any given time. The Weymouth, I think, has 7, and you can shoot 5 of them at any given time, but these shells have a higher alpha. Anyway, one thing I do want to talk about is just the low tiers and World of Warships in general, and the V25 that you see on the other team. It's not shocking at all that there's a V25 on the other team. There's only one player. Nobody plays low tier anymore, which is a huge, I was going to say problem with the game. I mean, it is what it is, right? But it makes low tier games really odd, and it makes the ships that you want at low tier really odd. I mean, the V25 is just far and away the best ship for tier 2. Like, if you want to win games at tier 2, you play the V25. Why? Because at low tiers, you're often one of only, well, it's just yourself against one other player, or maybe there's 2 players, max 3. So you're running around doing as much damage as you can to a number of different bots. Unlike the high tiers, you can't just win your flank, you have to win the entire map. And so part of that is you have to get to the entire map. And the Almirante Barroso goes 20 knots. Like, I'm going to try to reposition to the other side of the map, and I'm actually just not going to get there. Like, I don't have enough time to go that far. The V25 goes 36 knots, so he goes almost twice my speed, which means he's just way more effective. Like, he can just get to places that I can't get. And yes, his guns are terrible, but he has torpedoes, and he can sink anything he wants basically anytime he wants, as long as that thing is a bot. And he does. Like, he's a good player, and that's exactly what he's going to do. In a one-on-one duel with just him, I might have a chance, but he can just run around and sink the rest of my team, and then he can run away from me. And yeah, that's kind of boring, but like, he'll win basically every game. At the higher tiers, you can't just like zoop around the map because the map is full of things that want to kill you and can kill you. But at tier 2, the map is full of things that often don't even seem to care all that much about killing you and couldn't do it even if they wanted to. So anyway, that's a quick note about like the V25 and why it's the best ship for these low tiers. Anyway, having put all that to bed, this is as good a time as any to just talk about the channel and what I'm doing here, and what the point of this is. So the objective of this series is to record a video like this for every single ship in the game. And I realize that sounds a little bit absurd, but I mean, that is the goal. I want to record a video for every single ship in the game. I don't own every single ship in the game, but I own an awful lot of them. I've been playing the game for a long time, and I've invested a little bit of money in it. I don't think of myself as like a whale, but here and there over the 5-6 years that I've played, I've invested some hard-earned cash, and I also have been in a clan, and I've saved up my pennies, so to speak. So I have a lot of ships, and if we get to the end of all the ships that I own, then I'll figure out what I'm going to do to get the rest of them when that time comes. But the idea is, I noticed that for a lot of ships, so there's definitely a lot of videos out there about World of Warships, right? And for any given ship, you can probably find some videos on it. But they're not going to be in any kind of structured setting, and they're not going to be done by the same person. And they're often videos that are recorded with a specific objective in mind, or they're cherry picked from good games that that player had. And they're also often done by people that are really good at the game. I am not really good at the game. I'm pretty good at the game. I don't think these videos would be interesting if I was terrible at the game, right? But I'm not a Unicum player. Like I've said before, I think I'm like a 56% win rate overall in randoms. Probably a little bit better than that these days, but in the old days, I wasn't very good. I played a lot of aircraft carriers back in the day until I figured out that they were kind of boring. Now I play a lot of cruisers. I play a good bit of destroyer. I'm in a clan. I won't say which one, but I'm in a clan. I'm not, amazing in that clan. I usually play destroyer. But recording this video has a couple purposes. One, it gives people a look at every single ship in a consistent way with the same player and without cherry picking. I mean, they're almost always literally the first game I play. I have a rule that I'll play up to 2 games. So if I play the first game and it's really just bad, it's bad because I don't have any focus and I play really poorly, or it's bad because it's just a total blowout and I don't get to show anything about the ship, or there's actually like some kind of technical problem, which fortunately I rarely have. My computer's pretty rock solid. But if there's some kind of issue, this is not a stubborn exercise in literally showing you the very first game I play. If it's a terrible game, I'm not going to show it. But I also don't want to like play 10 games and cherry pick the best one, because that's not the point. Some ships just aren't that good. And sometimes you can even learn things from bad games, like a game where it's a blowout. Like some ships are really actually better in blowouts and other ships are really bad in blowouts. And that's just an interesting thing to know in and of itself. So yeah, that's the rule. I play 2 games. Now, on the rare occasion when both of those games are super duper duper terrible, I will give myself 1 break. And so basically I'll put that ship back on the shelf and then I'll come back a second time and I'll record like the next day. But that too is only in cases where it's like, so you see, just to change topics for a second, you see what he's done, right? He's just run out of the map and like he's killed everybody on my team except for me. He doesn't care about me. He's not interested in me. He is eventually going to try to kill me, but by the time he comes around to try to kill me, he doesn't really actually have to kill me to win the game, right? Which is a huge advantage that he has. I have to kill him if I want to win the game, and I really have no chance of doing that because I'm just way too slow. And unless he makes a mistake, which he's not going to do, like honestly, this is a mistake for him to get spotted at all. I don't know why he's doing this. He shouldn't just charge me. He's giving me an opportunity to try to kill him. I'm not going to be able to do it because the Almirante Barroso is not that great, and these HE shells are kind of crap against destroyers. I'm not hitting him all that much, and when I am, I'm getting overpens. It's just not that. Oh wait, that's a bot. Sorry. Oh man. Well, I should probably go back and edit that so I don't sound so dumb. Nah, you know what? The heck with it. It's New Year's Eve. I'll leave it in. But anyway, yeah, I was wondering, like, what the heck is he doing? Sorry. Yeah, who knows where he is, right? But anyway, back to why I'm doing this. So I think it's actually one of the cool things about World of Warships that there's so many ships in the game, but it does make it kind of hard sometimes, right? When let's say you get into a battle and you face a ship that you've never seen before, you might end that battle and be like, what the heck is that ship? And so I want a place where people can just go and they know that there's going to be some gameplay footage, just like a one take style, one game in and out, quick as can be, that they can just go and look at. There's another purpose to this, which is I'm learning a lot just as a player. I'm learning a ton by just going through all these ships. Some of these ships are ships I've either never played or I played once or twice. You may ask how I got all these ships, and some of them I bought over the years. Typically, I didn't buy the ship itself. I usually bought like Santa crates, which is how I get most of the ships in the game, because I find that to be like a way more effective way to just get ships in general. And then I buy certain specific ships, for example, ones that require steel or research points or coal, of course. And then once in a blue moon, I'll drop some money on doubloons. Typically, once a year, Wargaming has this 50% off coupon where you get double the money for the doubloons. I usually cash that in, and then I kind of save up those doubloons and I buy ships that look interesting. That's how I ended up with the Tiger 59, for example, way back in the day. But anyway, my philosophy in playing the games, like I said, I'm trying to do my best, but in particular, I'm trying to play a little bit more conservatively because, again, I don't think it benefits anybody to have me just explode 5 minutes in, even if perhaps that was the right play. Like I've been in games. I mean, the Paolo Emilio, of course, jumps to mind, the name of the channel. That's a ship where sometimes the correct play is to just dive into a cap and spot 3 ships and sink them all with your torpedoes and then blow up. But that wouldn't make for a very good video about what the Paolo Emilio is like. Or maybe it would. I don't know. For the Paolo Emilio, that's a bit of an exception. But for most ships, that's not what I want. I want you to get long enough to see the ship in different situations. And I don't always succeed at that because, of course, the downside of a one take is, you don't know what you're going to get, right? You might end up in a situation that just doesn't play to that ship's strengths. You might end up on a really bad team. A classic example of that is I've already played a couple games in the Groningen that I couldn't use because what happened was I just ended up in a game that didn't have any DDs except me. And so then you have to play a frontline DD role. And I just don't think the Groningen's all that good at that. And those games didn't turn out all that well. So that's not really a great showcase of what the Groningen can do. But in general, if the game is halfway decent and showcases the ship at all, then I'm just going to try and post it as is. I make mistakes. I'm probably going to say things in videos that are wrong, like, give you stats about a ship and they're not right. I don't do like a ton of extensive research. And there's a few reasons for that. One is I just don't have time, right? I want to record a video for every ship in the game. And I want it to be, I completely forgot that the Indefatigable has torpedoes, by the way. This is just silly of me. I think I'm going to actually have it happen again. I was not paying rapt attention during this game, I got to be honest with you, because I knew where this game was going. I was going to get a lot of damage and a lot of kills, and then I was going to lose to this V25, which is what happened. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I don't do a ton of research, and there's a couple reasons for that. One is I don't have time. You may ask, why not just do like one video a day for a year and a half? And there's a few reasons for that. One is that's just not what I want to do. But the other reason, which is a little more subtle, is I want all these videos to be from a relatively similar point in time, because the game keeps evolving. If I do it over a year and a half, then that means that the videos 18 months from now are going to be really in a different game. They're going to be hard to compare against the first videos I record. But what that means is that I need to do multiple ones a day, and doing multiple ones a day means I just don't have time to do like a bunch of research about every single ship. But there's actually another reason, which is I know that when you play the ships, you're not necessarily going to do a bunch of research on each ship. And so I want it to be like a little more realistic. I don't want to min-max every single ship. I don't need a 21-point captain going into every game. That is not the point of this series. These are not videos about how to play these specific ships. These are literally what I say in the beginning. They're not an exhaustive analysis. I mean, that's why I have that disclaimer. They're just a sample of the gameplay of the ship. Literally, like, what's it going to be like when I take the ship out for the first time? I also hope to provide some interesting commentary, make the videos fun and watchable, but honestly, like, the main goal here is just, it's almost like a record of every single ship in the game that people can look at later down the road and be like, okay, that's how that ship played at that moment in time, either because they're interested in purchasing it. I mean, that is one of my goals, right, is to provide some tools that can help you decide whether a particular ship is something that you want to invest in. But yeah, that's why I'm doing this series. That's the goal of it. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to do every single ship in the game. It's partially because I just am like that. I'm a completionist, but it's also because I don't know which ships you might want to buy, right? Like, I don't know where you're at in the game. I don't know if you've just started out or if you're a veteran. I don't know if you're looking at a brand new ship like the Hawaii, or a ship that's been in the game forever like the Montana, or a ship for beginners, like this one here. Yeah, I don't want to skip anything. Yeah, he finally got me. I should have been paying a little better attention, but I mean, he's a pretty good player, and he just, yeah, at the end, that ending was inevitable one way or the other. Anyway, so that's a little bit about the Almirante Barroso. It's basically a Weymouth. There's a lot more about my philosophy on how to make the videos. I wish everybody a happy new year and a wonderful 2026. And I will see you guys in the next video about hopefully a potentially slightly more interesting ship. Sorry, not trip, ship.